but I especially wanted to get your insight on this issue, postal, obviously, because if anybody knows it, it's you having, a long history of working with the USPS. But I also know that you've been working, to solve the problem in Washington. I guess, first of all, you've been hearing, I'm sure, from people in Detroit and the metro area about this ongoing issue. I mean, it's very concerning, don't you think?
Yes, it is. It's very concerning because the ultimate job of the Postal Service, which I just want to do a little history lesson here. The Postal Service was established as part of our Constitution. It is not a business, it is a service. And we know that delivering the mail in a safe way, that it protects the integrity of the privacy and the communication and commerce of our country is tied to the Postal Service. So if they're not delivering, it creates a problem on multiple levels. The one that comes to mind most to me is that so many people use the Postal Service for their medicine that they receive. And there's so many other things that come through the mail that's really, really important. And during COVID, where we couldn't see each other personally, the opportunity to use old-fashioned greeting cards, staying in touch with each other, has really heightened the awareness of the public of how long does it take to get mail, not to mention all the parcels that are delivered through the mail system. So I'm very concerned about the service issue. And they keep telling me it's because they have 30,000 employees who are off work based on a COVID-related issue, not having childcare, caring for an elder parent or a sick person, or fear of exposure. So we're knowing that that issue is going to be resolved with the vaccinations we're getting.
Do you think that's all of the issue, though, or do you think there's more to it than just it being pandemic related?
Well, what I cringe about is we have a postmaster who is new, hasn't been there a year, and is already trying to reform and change and shake everything up while the system isn't working because of COVID. And so I cringe on that. So I'm worried about all the changes. And, we protested and I went to the Congress and got them to stop taking machines out in the middle of a pandemic, sorting machines. So I worry about that, but we're filling the postmaster governors, the board of governors that can provide some additional oversight. We're constantly having hearings. We initiated a review of the Postal Service by our internal IG department. So we're looking at everything because this is really an important issue.
And I know that you've also been working and you've introduced legislation and bills. Can you kind of get us up to date on what it is that you're trying to move forward and where those things stand right now?
So I'm proud to say bipartisan. To be here on the Hill and say something is bipartisan is a hallelujah moment. We passed out of committee the Postal Service Reform Act, and I'm so proud to be sitting at the table in committees writing this bill that would eliminate a pre-funding mandate, integrating employees into Medicare, providing flexibility for the agency to provide non-postal related resources, and something that is really critical to what we're going through now, we're going to mandate that the Postal Service post a publicly accessible dashboard of their service performance. And so we are passing this in a bipartisan way. We are also working on electrifying the postal fleet, which we know is the future. And this is another point of history. Do you realize the Postal Service has the second largest motor vehicle fleet outside of the military? So if we electrify the Postal Service fleet, we will reduce our carbon footprint tremendously. It would be a major impact.
What do you think? I mean, from your years within the Postal Service, do you think that this is one of the most challenging times that the USPS is facing right now? I mean, you spent many years there on the inside. So, kind of what's your perspective having that insider knowledge?
So one of the greatest challenges right now is that the Postal Service for years have seen a decline in the letter revenue. But what has happened is that we've had this tremendous increase in parcels. So we're going to have to redefine our processing centers from processing of letters and flat mail to parcels. And so that is a infrastructure challenge that we're going through right now. Obviously, we've been hit by COVID. That created, because few people recognize the Postal Service are frontline workers. They did not stop delivering the mail during the pandemic. And so we are seeing all of these things just intersecting at the same time and creating a need for leadership. And I question and I'm challenged by a new coming Postmaster General who I feel is there because of his relationship with the past president. But the reality is he is our Postmaster General. We are appointing our Board of Governors to give oversight. I know that's my job, is being on government, the Committee on Government Oversight and Reform, and I'm going to keep doing my job. But this is a critical time right now for the Postal Service.
If there's somebody out there, myself or any of our viewers or anybody here within this area, it's watching this story and they say, boy, I haven't received my mail in 3 weeks, a month. I've been up to my local post office. I've complained. What can they do now to try to work to restore their mail service?
So I'm proud to say that Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib and I, who both represent Detroit, have been getting complaints from 2 particular offices on an ongoing basis. And we went to sit down and say, what is happening? So we toured the processing facility in Detroit. And we know that the hiccup or the backlog is in the delivery stations. And we are going to schedule 2 things I want the listening public to know. If you have not delivered your mail, and I'm hearing weeks on a time or 2 days a week, which is very not normal for most people. We receive something almost every day. Call your congressional office. We open up what we call a case, and we can take that complaint and go directly into those facilities to find out what the problem is and then work to fix it.
One last thing. Are you confident or hopeful that as more people are getting vaccinated, and I see now in Michigan, the governor announcing major progress today, that this problem kind of resolves itself, or is there more that needs to be done?
Well, I'm going to keep my eye on it because we are going to eliminate the issue of the COVID pandemic status that this virus has had on our community. As more people get vaccinated, we will be able to remove that. But that does not mean I can't keep my eye on what's going on to make sure that the Postal Service delivers the mail as they should.
And one last thing, just because you mentioned the COVID vaccines, I know that the mayor has been concerned about vaccination turnout within the city itself. What would you say to those who are still kind of hesitant, that are still waiting, that have not yet gone in to take care of this? Because we know it's very readily available. It's not hard to go get it done.
I want to say to everyone, getting the vaccine is more than just about you. It's about you being healthy and alive to take care of your family, to be able to go to work because you are you're vaccinated from the virus, hospitalizing you or taking your life. And if you care about your family, if you care about your community, if you want to be able to contribute economically to your family, get the vaccine. It is amazing the amount of stress that leaves you when you get this vaccine, because you're always concern. Am I going to get it? Am I, have I been exposed? And it is part of the bigger picture. And I know that there's hesitancy. I had hesitancy. I said, oh my God, am I going to grow a tail? Am I going to green? What's happening? There's so many mistruths out there. And, some people just out of just random conspiracy theory will say, well, people are dying from it. I said, name me one person who died from the vaccine. Name me a person who died from the virus. And overwhelmingly, you can name someone who died or were hospitalized with the virus, but you can't name anyone who died. We know that this virus is going to be able to put our families back together, allow us to send our children to school, allow us to go on vacation, attend weddings, and we are all just pent up and want to get back to normal. Only way I do it is if you get your vaccine.
Great. Thank you very much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. And I will get you a link to this story. Thank you. Safe travels.